Hello everybody, my name is Adam and today in Planet Zoo I'm going to give you a full tutorial on null and custom barriers. I did a video a while back about this, but I wanted an updated fresh version for you lot to enjoy and hopefully to take away something and learn something from this video. We're going to be talking about and showing you how to create custom fences like this and then keep your animals within your enclosure. But there is other ways to create natural looking custom barriers and use null barriers effectively, more than just creating custom fences like this. You can see there's two main elements what I believe work very well when creating custom barriers like this. Custom fences, whatever you want to call them, there's two main ingredients, let's say, and that is mesh and wood. Everything else you see is just accessory. Once you've got your mesh and you've got your wood, you can then start adding details like this lovely little bracket here, what looks like it gives the impression of holding the mesh together. Or in this one where we've used a rope, so it looks like our guest can put the hands on the rope to get a better look at our animals inside the habitat. By the way, these custom fences are 2 meters by 4 meters and they are available on my Steam Workshop page, link in the description. What you got to remember though is there's a lot of items in Planet Zoo what act as a barrier from animals to guests and doesn't let your animals escape. You don't have to use the in-game barriers what are built for you. You don't even have to go in this tab unless you're using the null barrier and putting the gate in, which we will get to. But yeah, if we just go in the construction tab and you can pretty much pick any piece what's on the grid, your animals will not get through that. But not just items on the grid as well. Any solid piece your animals cannot escape from, unless this is a warning sign here, unless it's an animal that can climb. If you're building a habitat for any kind of monkey, then things are different. But if you are creating a habitat for some animal what can climb, then this is the type of thing you can build. You can build enclosed habitats like this. This is catered more for a big cat like a cheetah or a lion. But you can see once again how good the mesh and the wood look together and how well they work. I've even got a bridge here what is traversable, and I've got some kind of like aviary style dome I created, and the animals cannot get out, but your guests can easily see in. And you can get habitats like this, which it looks like the barrier is acting as the null barrier and as what, you know, keeping the animals inside the habitat. But it's actually not. The rocks in this situation are keeping the animals in and acting as your natural null barrier. So it really is up to you how you go about creating that custom barrier, what you're going to run that null barrier through. I'm going to give you some examples now though. Personally, I like to use off the grid pieces. So I'm just going to type in wood. I'm going to create this right now in front of you so you can see how I go about doing it. Now let's go into walls. Let's have a quick look. I want a wall, but I want an off the grid wall. See, even stuff like this, if we just turn that round, how good's that for a barrier? Do you know what I mean? Easy but effective, and I think we're going to go with it. So we're going to place that. I want it a bit lower, and I'm going to give you a super tip here now. Okay, go into Blueprints. If you've not already downloaded this from the Steam Workshop, then please go and do it. It's called Angry Archer for scale, and this is the same size as a guest in your zoo, so you can judge the scale of how tall you want your habitat gates, right? We want it so the guest can just peek over the top of the habitat. So if we place him down and we raise this a bit further up, there we go, we've got the right scale. Now we can delete him and get to work on our gate. So we want some kind of post. Again, this is totally up to you. I'm doing this quite quickly, so don't expect the best from me. I think I'm going to go with that. We'll recolor it to light brown. And we'll just go down like that. Go to the other side, duplicate it and move it over. There we go. We can even move this down a little bit more. And then we can put another piece on the top, which I'll show you now. What piece shall we have? We'll go on this one, maybe here. This will work quite well, I think. Rotate that round. line everything up. Make sure it's not poking out the sides. If it does, just adjusting. Remember patience and perseverance for everything. I'm going to change it to the thinner one. We're going to change the colour to the same colour. There we go. It's totally up to you, the design, remember. But there you go. You've got a simple custom fence already. All we're left to do is just select everything and merge scenery into group. And there we go. That is easily duplicatable. It's easy to duplicate the item is what I'm trying to say. So there you go. You just line it up. And you can see how a full custom barrier is started to be formed. You can even then group that. And now the habitat is starting to be formed, isn't it? Run a path alongside it. And there we go. We've already got custom barriers and a viewing area. And then the habitat is going to be in that part of the build, the creation. But you can also do this with rocks as well and foliage. So we'll delete this and I'll give you another example how to create a custom barrier. So we'll go into rocks. We're going to take blueprints off for now. And you can use any old rock. Again, this is totally up to you how you design this. But if we press X and then we just move this in here, give a bit of different height and different rock variation here. Just like that. Stick some foliage around it. I like to use this, where is it? Drained grass. You can go on the path, don't worry about it. Your guests can walk through that grass. Give a bit of different height variations again. And then again, foliage. Let's go into foliage. You can add different plants. It's totally up to you how you go about doing stuff. But there you go. You've got a custom barrier made out of wood on this side, and you've got a custom barrier what your animals will not be able to escape. Remember, that's the main thing on this side. And that's just two little ideas of how you would create custom in-game barriers. And I know this is very basic, but this is a basis of a habitat, isn't it? And once you've got your foundation in place, so you've got your viewing areas, your paths, and your main null barriers, not null barriers, sorry, your custom barriers, it's time to put null barriers in. Now, how do we do this? Very, very easy. That's how we do it, especially with the added lower wooden gates, which you can see here. Now, you can put this in anywhere. Honestly, it doesn't matter for now. But let's just put that in there, like that. And then we want to select this button here. Now, this selects the whole of the barrier. So we select this and we click on null. That changes it to null. We've still got that gate, but it kind of looks in place, doesn't it, on that fence? It looks good. It's the same height. And then we want to go back into this. And we just want to carry on the null barrier. So we're going to barriers. We've got null, and you just want this doesn't have to be nice and neat and tidy. This, honestly, it doesn't. Just put a null barrier, just stick it around like that. It doesn't have to be in the rocks, it doesn't have to be in the barriers. Just stick it all the way around like this, and everything what's included in this inside area will be included if you wanted to make a blueprint. So we'll stick that back in, and there you've got a basic little habitat. And honestly, it's as simple as that. I'm going to show you on a bigger scale now and how to see that your animals, and how to make sure that your animals cannot escape. Right, here we have a much larger habitat that I've created. This is for horses, and you'll see again we've used some natural barriers. Let's take a look. So we've got a custom made fence here, which again the animals cannot escape. And on this side you can see how I've blocked off this path here with rocks and foliage, again giving it a more natural look, and again the animals can't escape. And that is just a couple of ways how I personally go about creating custom barriers. Now, how to check that your animals can't escape, very important. Right, our horses are in, you can see. Now there's two different options. If you're playing on sandbox mode and you don't want that much realism, then you don't have to worry about this. All you have to do is bring up the main menu, go into settings, go into sandbox mode, and we want animal settings, and if we scroll down here you will be able to see enable escapes. Mine's currently on because my barriers work, but if you don't want to worry about your animals escaping, then just take that on off your pop. You don't have to worry about it. But if you do want a bit more realism and you do want, you know, your animals have the ability to escape, then simple. These kind of barriers will work. Remember, only if the animals can't climb. I've already mentioned that point. Just remember it though. It is very important. If that's the case, you want to build a custom barriers, they need an enclosed habitat then. Right, to check if the animal cannot escape and if they can, where they are escaping from and your problematic areas, we need to go into this bottom left menu here called heat maps. We go in here and we select habitat. And then we want to select on this drop down menu here, traversable area. Once you've selected that, click on the animal. And everything in blue is where your animal can go. And as you can see, they cannot get out of the perimeter of custom barriers that I have created. But if they can, for instance, let's just delete a barrier. So let's go in this area here and let's just delete a selection here just to show you how it works. Let's delete that and let's go back on that same heat map, traversable area. If it works for me, heat map, traversable area, click on the animal, and as you can see now there's these warning signs which mean they can break through and be free out of the habitat you created. We don't want that. As long as you don't see these signs, they will not escape. So let's put that back in and let's talk about actually creating a null barrier and placing your gate in a larger habitat like this. And again, as you can see here, we've used one of the smaller barriers. These are brilliant when creating smaller barriers, obviously. But we'll click on this and you can see again, once again, all I've done is ran a null barrier all the way around the edge of everything that you want included into that habitat. Again, this makes it very much easier if you want to upload this to a Steam Workshop page. All you have to do is save it as a blueprint, new blueprint, and there you go. You can see currently everything what's included in this blueprint. Obviously the paths are not included, but you can never get the paths included in a blueprint. It's just something what Planet Zoo doesn't allow you to do. All you have to do then is save it and then upload it to the workshop if you wish. And there we go. I believe that concludes this null barrier / custom barrier tutorial. If you have learnt anything from this video or gained any kind of inspiration, then hit that like button. If you're new around here, then you might as well subscribe. My name's Adam. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.